Hi, my name is Jim, and I want to show you how to put Patch 2007 on a Windows 7 computer. This may be also true for Patch 5 and 9, and in addition to Windows 8 and 10. First, you should have on your desktop two shortcuts, pointing to the command prompt and to Windows Explorer. In addition, you should know how to set a restore point. If you know none of these, check out the internet and learn it. Third, you want to go get the CD with the PAS program on it, and you want to copy it to your hard drive. The reason is you have to go in and modify the properties of a file, and I don't know if you can do that while your CD is in the CD drive. Next, you want to make sure your computer is in a good known configuration. If not, you might have to do some disk cleanup, defrag, virus scan, update, whatever, but you want your computer in a known good configuration, and at that point you want to create a restore point. For the past several years I've tried to put 5 on my machine with no luck, and doing things that other websites suggested also had no luck. Well, last summer, late summer, early fall, I came across a thing called an administrator file inside of Windows 7. I didn't know what it was, but I filed it in the back of the brain. Well, earlier this year, I tried to do some more, putting 5 on my machine, and I remembered I had come across this thing, so I went looking. And after going to several websites, which were more crappy than anything, I wound up back at a site I had been or visited before called How to Geek. So I went in there and I did a search, and by God, something popped up. And instead of a bunch of crap, they pointed right out what it was. Very short, very quick, and right to the point. None of this bullshit everybody else has. And I'll show you that here in a second. This is my text file that tells me about it. This is the name of the file that How to Geek has. This is their URL, and this thing goes on forever. So if just go to howtogeek.com, pull up their search engine, and then search for this guy, you'll come up with it. Now, the caveat that they give you is not very strong, but take it from one who got bit in the ass. Only use this when you have to, and turn it off when you don't. Now, this line here is the command you have to use. You need to copy that, put it in a notepad or a WordPad or somewhere, and save it. The only difference between turning it on and turning it off is this statement right here. To turn it on, you use yes. To turn it off, you use no. Don't do like I did. You leave the damn thing turned on. I got my ass in hot water for it. Okay? But that's it. Now, you need to copy this statement. Then you need to go to the command prompt on your desktop, right-click, run as administrator, paste this statement in there, then hit the return, and you should get something about completed successfully, okay? If it didn't, you didn't do something right. Try it again. Now, then you have to close down all your windows, and you have to log off. I'm going to turn this guy off, so bear with me. As soon as I get it, there it goes. When you log off, you'll all of a sudden be at a log on window. Now, if you're the only user and you've never seen this window, because when you power your machine up, you just go right to your desktop, like you see right here. But now, when you log off, you're going to see the log on window. You're going to have a user, and over here you will have another icon that is labeled administrator. To install the program, you want to always log in and keep logging in until the installation is complete as administrator. Don't go to the user. Okay? Now, what do we do? Well, I had mentioned you put a restore point. Now, when you want to turn this administrator file on, you want to go in and set it up to what you like. You will find that your desktop is pretty much copied, but such things as the window, Explorer, and command prompt, it didn't pick up. So I had to install, put them on that desktop. When you are done and you have that desktop all set up the way you like it, log off and then log into user, then copy that command, and this time paste it in as run as administrator, remember. Paste it in and change the yes to a no, log off, or not, hit the return key, and then log off and make sure that the administrative account isn't there. Then log back in and set a restore point. The reason is you want the Windows, your administrator here, your computer here, and this restore point on top. If you don't do that, and up here you do something screwy and you have to get back and you go to the restore point down here, what happens is you lose everything you set up in the administrative file. So after you get it all set up, you want to put a restore point on top of the administrator, and that's the restore point you want to go to. I mentioned earlier that I had tried to put 2005 on my machine. Well, when I used the administrative file, it took me a couple tries, but I finally got it up on the machine, but had one error, an OLE error. Well, after I got 2007 on my machine, I went back and researched OLE and found out it's really not compatible with Office 2003. So if you have 7 or 10, you'll probably go. Now, why didn't I have 7? Well, the reason is I don't like the ribbon. I feel like I'm a baby, and I refuse to go back 4,000 years to ancient Egypt when they were using hieroglyphics. I feel I got a little bit more intelligence than that. Enough said. While installing the program and leading you through it, a lot of these windows will have a browse button. I'm not going to stand there and tell you to browse is selected. You do that yourself. I'm just going to say next. So if you don't like where they're putting it, you go ahead and change it to what you want. I don't also know that I missed a few windows where there was an OK up in the upper left-hand corner, possibly normal operation and so forth. But 3 of them I do definitely want you to pay attention to. And that's when you first fire this thing up, it'll ask you for it'll stop and ask you for a license ID. You want to skip the licensing at that point because the program will run smoother, cleaner, and more evenly if you wait till the end of the installation to do the licensing. The second thing is when it asks you to register the product. Unless you like screwing around with Outlook Express and all that other jazz on the internet, fine and dandy. Otherwise, select either register later or skip it or do something. It's the bottom one that you want to click on. Then it gets to a point asking you to reboot. No, that's the one you want. Reboot caused me some problems, and then to get around it, I said no and did it after. Worked much better. So the 3 definite no's that I was: skip the licensing, don't do the registration, and don't reboot, period. If you want to go ahead and do it, that's up to you. So, some of the windows I missed, not very important. Mostly just click OK or continue or next or something like that. You don't want to hit stop, back, or unless you need to go back, or cancel or anything else. Okay? So now, let us start to really begin to put 7 on our machine. Or I should say, your machine, because I already got it right here, folks. Now we want to install 7 on 7. Activate your Windows Administrative file or account. Then log in as administrator. Once you are logged in, I need you to go to the Windows Explorer, open it up, and I want you to go to where you have the PADS program. On my computer, I have it over here in a partition labeled I, and under it, I got the PADS program right here, software. Open it, and I've got the 2007 CD. I'll open it. Now, what will happen here is mine may look a little different than yours, okay? That's okay. But what you want to do then is go find Auto Run Exec, and here it is. You want to right click on that. You want to go down and pick the properties. Let me go down and get it. Now, it's off your screen, and we won't see it, but it's property. Then I want you to go to the compatibility tab right here. Click that, and make sure you have set run as a program of compatibility. Run in compatibility mode. You want that clicked, and that should be Windows XP Service Pack 3. Come down further down here and do this also. Click and check, make sure there's a check mark there. Run as a program as administrator. In other words, run as an administrator. Then I want you to, let me move this up so you can see. I want you to click the apply, and I want you to do the OK. I've already done it, and then you can close the two windows down. Close this one down and close this one down. Now, if you put those compatibility mode and run as administrator in the user account, and then come into the administrative account, you'll find out they are not checked. You have to do it in the administrative account. It doesn't carry through from user to administrator. So be sure to do this only necessarily in the administrative account. Getting sort of tongue-tied here. Then what you need to do is to go to the run command. Now, if you don't have the run on the start menu, no problem. Look down at your keyboard, locate the space bar, and on either side of the space bar, look for a Windows logo, a key with the Windows logo on it. Hold that key down, which I'm doing right now, and I want you to press the letter R for run. And that will call up, just a minute, that will call up the run command. Move this window up so you can see in here. Then you use to browse and browse right back to that auto run exec program. In other words, wherever you have it, you want autorun.exe. That's an application. Once you have done that, then click the OK. Then that will bring up the start menu, or I should say the splash screen. And let me go get that. This is the splash screen. It may take 10 to 15 seconds for it to show up. What you want to do is you want to click right here, install the products. Then you will get a white box or rectangle up here in the left-hand corner, and then a gray box over the top. In either event, it will continue on and then come to a point where it says licensing ID. The first one, it shows node lock. This is where I told you to skip the licensing. Down at the bottom of that, there's a round one, white round circle. Make sure the black dot is in there, and it says skip the licensing. Click next. Install folder products, programs in here. Next. Then you'll get create the folder. Next. Then it will have the source destination. Next. And then it will ask you, to install. Install pads, verify. Install the pads, next. Pick the product you want, next. Verify, next. And then it will commence to install, and you'll see a screen with a light gray bar, a dark gray bar on top, slowly moving left to right. At the end of that, you'll get a notice to register the product. Say, do not register, or I'll register later. At the bottom of it, again, a little round circle with a dot in the middle. And then it will ask you to reboot. And when you get to that point, say no. And then it will finish up, tell you that it will continue on a reboot. Then you say OK, then click done, and then close this file down. And at that point, you want to log off. Or, I should say, complete shutdown, whichever you prefer. After you have logged off or turned off the power and then turn it back on, complete shutdown, you are looking at a log on screen. Pick the administrator again and log back in. At this point, the unit will pick up and continue the configuration. There might be a screen or two in between this and the end of it, which it says the installation is complete. Once you reach that, I think you do have a OK to click and a done. Now you are faced with the three options here. You can continue on, or you can do a complete shutdown, power back up, or log off and then log back on. I prefer the power down because I always like to start with a clean slate. That is up to you. But in any event, if you use the log, shut down, shut on, and then the log off, you will not have this screen. To get it back, simply press on the keyboard, the Microsoft logo key, press R, and then when that run command box comes up, it should still have the auto exec in there. Go ahead and press the OK, and that would bring this screen back up. Now, that's your three options you have. Now, after that point, I want you to put in the server. This is the light, not this one here, but this guy here, the server. At that point, you will be faced with a screen that has a PC over here, and then it'll have two large boxes. You want the top box, and you want to hit next. And at that point, it should show loading the Flex 6/7, Flex 8, Flex 9. Now, I can have those two screens reversed, but that's what will happen. Now, after it does that, it will run, and then it will ask you again with the license ID, and it'll have clicked at the top, node lock. Now, select that node lock. You want that node lock, excuse me, and press the next. At this point, it will want you to point to the license. Now, here's a little caveat. If you look at the bottom, it'll say in a box there, C:\license.txt. It expects to find the license on the top of the C drive. That's a bad place. Another program may also be using a license.txt, and you'd have a confusion there. So I suggest to you, as I had done, is to place the license underneath the Mental Graphics folder on your machine. Therefore, I had the license actually in a folder that I called 2007 pads _license, LIC, and I placed the text file, the license text file, in there. So when you look at my machine, you see C:\mental graphics /2007 pads _license then license.txt, and that should be the line. Then below that, where it says the name of the file, it should also be license.txt. Do as you want, but that's a suggestion that I make to you. Now, at that point, you go ahead and you say next, and then the machine will run and will say, come up, licensing complete. At that point, effectively, you will either have an error or it'll be a complete installation. Now, let me shut this guy here down. Now, at that point, okay, at that point, you want to click the exit underneath the splash screen there, and then you want to either you got to log off, then log back in as a user. Now, go get that command that you started to activate the administrative account, and then go up and right-click the command prompt, run as administrator, paste that command, change that yes to a no, and then execute, or I should say press the enter key, and it should say completed, okay. Then you either can go ahead and try the machine, or I just said, okay, let's just power down and power back up and see what the hell happens. And at that point, when you get back in, you should come up right with your normal screen as you usually do, with no login required. You might want to check to make sure by logging off after you do that, that administrative folder is not there. So it's whatever you want to do. Now, at that point, line up your your icons like I did here. And then what you want to do is go ahead and click on it and see that it comes up like that. Although you will get a welcome screen, and there'll be a box down here that says do not show this on power up, and another box over here that says you can easily get back going to the help menu, which I'll show you real quick. You go up here to help, and it'll say show the welcome screen on startup. Okay, so you can get that back easily, and that's it. And there you are. You should have 2007 installed on your machine at that point. In the case of 2005, I can't honestly answer that because I don't have Office 7 or later on my machine. 2009, I have no clue, but I got a funny feeling. You follow what I just said, it'll fly. What the hell you got to lose? Remember, during the installation, anytime you log off, you must log in as administrator, period. No ands, ifs, or buts. And then when you have done the licensing, and when it's all done, when I tell you to go to user, that's when you can go. Otherwise, always log back in as administrator. Now we'll convert PADS 5 libraries to PADS 7. Very simple. Go up here to not internet, but Windows Explorer. Open it up. Go down to the C drive. And then we'll go to Mental Graphics right here. As you see, this is where I have my license, as I was telling you earlier. Then we'll open up PADS. Then we'll go to Home. And we'll go down here to Programs. And the one you want to pick is this guy right here, Library Conversion 4 to 7 EXE. Double click on it. Open it up. As you can see, you add your library. And you select them all or whatever you want. When you're finished, you hit the convert button and it'll convert them. And then all you have to do is either delete all 4s out of there or just copy the 7s out, because it will not overwrite 4. It will actually duplicate and change it to 7. And that's all there is to it. Well, that's it. I hope you had a good time listening to me and a bunch of crap that I talked about. I would like to mention this, though. Mental Graphics says 7 is not compatible with Windows. Well, to me, that sounds like something out of the south end of a bowl. I like to also say that I recorded this over several weeks, suffering through a head cold, which you probably can tell from my speech. And I would like to thank you for taking your time paying attention to this video. Other than that, in the immortal words of Mr. Spock of Star Trek, live long and prosper, and may the Force be with you. Thank you, goodbye, and good luck.